Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Welcome, Kathy and Roxanne, to Savvy Broadcasting, Life Unscripted. We're so grateful to have you here today. How are you both?
We are wonderful. Thank you.
Well, you guys are coming on right when we're getting started with 2020. And what do people do when the new year gets started? But we're going to get healthy, get in shape, all these resolutions, and they fall off the wagon pretty quickly after getting started. But you guys have written a wonderful book, the Easy AIR FRYER Cookbook, that is really tied to also cooking in a way that helps with people with diabetes. And even if you don't have diabetes, you don't want to head in that direction. So you have some wonderful recipes in your book. But share with our audience, let's get started with you, Kathy. What brought you to writing the book and, working together?
Well, working together is a fun story. Roxanne and I met well over 30 years ago in the test kitchen for a small appliance company. So we have always had a special interest in using small appliances, and most importantly, to help families get dinner on the table. But we truly enjoyed working together and have consulted and written books together ever since that.
Wow.
And so we are thrilled that this one, we had the opportunity to work with air fryers and the American Diabetes Association.
That is fabulous. Now, tell me, do either of you suffer with diabetes?
No.
Thank
No,
God.
we don't, but we're very cognizant of it and know that could happen at any time as we age. So we are very cautious of our food choices.
Yeah. And what's interesting, both Kathy and Roxanne, is that in the American diet, so much of it is bread. Last year, I went on this fast for 6 months. I had nothing, no meat, and no bread. Man, was that hard. I had no idea how much, cheese and bread and meat that I eat in a daily basis. And giving up those three things is like, there's two things left on my plate. That's veggies and fruit. And it was a little hard, growing up on an American diet, getting used to that. What have you find has been some of the challenges putting together the book and eating this way yourself?
Well, I think that you hit it on the head, and I think one of the keys to success is fruits and vegetables. And what we learned with the air fryer, when we first thought about the air fryer, we thought about the common things: tater tots, onion rings, French fries, not the foods that aren't so good for you, right? But then when we really started working with them, because as Kathy mentioned, we worked together with small appliance companies, and this was several years ago, when we started doing the vegetables in the air fryer, it opened up a whole new world to us. They are so wonderful. And it's almost like an intense way of roasting and crisping the vegetables all at the same time. So all of a sudden, we were digging out our air fryers, but not to do what you might think. We were doing vegetables. And then my family was even saying, these are good. You can make these again, which doesn't happen a lot when I serve a lot of vegetables.
Wow.
So it was a win.
Total win. Now, share with me, both of you, what exactly is an air fryer? Because actually, I've never used one. And there might be quite a few folks that have never picked one up, especially maybe younger folks.
An air fryer is a really popular small appliance today. And so there's lots of different brands, but all of them have the simplest form is, imagine a basket that slides into a contained unit, and it cooks from swirling hot air. So that hot air browns and crisps the food and allows you to cook quickly and give that crispy brown crust that many people love, and it has a great flavor, but you don't have the oil.
You know what? I think I'm going to go get one this weekend. I don't own an air fryer. I never thought of getting one. I had a guest on last year that talked about the wonderfulness of slow cooking and to leave something like meats. Because one of the things I hear, and you can both attest to this and probably share with the audience, how so many people I talk to say, I can't be healthy. I don't have time to be healthy. I got to run and get some fast food. I'm working like crazy. I can't cook for the kids. But you're here to say that's not true. With an air fryer, you can cook healthy meals and not too long of a time.
That's right. It actually reduces the time. It reduces the oil. And one of the things that I found, it was sort of a bonus plus, if you were doing a food that you might typically deep fry, like a fried chicken or that kind of thing. You know how when you do deep fry, those rare times, because none of us really deep fry that often, but your house smells of oil. for hours afterwards, and you're sort of embarrassed to have folks over.
Yeah.
With the air fryer, you use little to no oil. You still get that crisp coating, and there's no after odor, and the cleanup is amazing. You don't have to deal with the oil or what to do. Very easy.
Yeah, and I'm guessing you're cutting back big time on the fat content. Now, fat, I think one of the other myths that American culture lives by, that fat is kind of evil and bad, and we kind of need healthy fat. It's not a bad thing, but sometimes we just overdo it in the not so good fat.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you think, Kathy? What's your take on that?
Well, and I was going to say, in the air fryer, what we sometimes, for just even a tiny bit of the flavor, just do a small mist of one of the misting oils or the nonstick coating, and that gives just enough. But Roxanne can probably expand on the oil savings.
Mm.
Oh, it's just you use a tablespoon or two in relationship to where you might use, cups in deep frying. So it's very, very healthy and very, very, very good way to go.
You know what I'm getting from both of you? Not only is it much healthier to cook this way, but it sounds like it saves a lot of money in the long run.
I think it can save money and it can save time. And most importantly, like Kathy said in the beginning, we're all about eating around the table, and that you can have dinner on the table in the time it takes you to go through that drive-through. Yes. Or to call in that carry out. And it really can happen with the air fryer. There are recipes in our book for fish tacos and, like I said, chicken and lots of different things that you can have on the dinner table in not a lot of time, which in our book, that's a win. Anytime that we can have our family and our friends around the table and not go out, it's a win.
Yeah. What's your take, Kathy?
Well, exactly. And when you start looking at the air fryer, the Easy Air Fryer Cookbook, you see that variety that Roxanne just mentioned. And with food that tastes that good, or is that fun to serve, or in that attractive, you don't need to reach for those potato chips and just, do the mindless eating. And you don't need to stop at that fast food, restaurant. Yeah. There's a great variety of foods that you can entice your family to sit down at that table with you.
And I love that. How much of the getting the family together was part of you building this book and creating it? Because how much of today do I hear, everyone's rush. They get home, get on their convenient, whatever, iPad, television, whatever it is. And they're all disconnected from each other. That half hour, even 40 minutes just to sit down and be with each other.
I think it's important. And I think that another along that line, let's say you've got some at soccer and some at choir practice or whatever, and you're holding the meal. Again, you can refresh it by putting it, if you've had it on warm and you've kept it warm in your oven at a low temperature and you want that crispness back, you can add it right back to that air fryer, turn it on and re-crisp things for those that come in. But I think Kathy and I both speak with our families. We try to have dinner around the table as often as we can, because that's where our community is built. And that's where we find out what's really going on in our lives.
Wow. And can I ask you, for air fryer, do you have to use any sort of oil? Can you sometimes put veggies in it with zero oil, or is it kind of preferable that you use some oils?
We use just a tiny bit of oil. There are a couple of recipes I'm thinking that you can maybe start without, but as Roxanne said, just maybe a tablespoon of oil, if that, or you can use the one that you might mist, or one of the aerosol sprays, and just barely coat it.
Yeah, I personally like coconut spray that I use sometimes, and that sounds like a great idea. The coconut spray. That would be a great
use of it. Yes, it's a great idea. And now this time of year, we're doing a lot of football watching here in our area, and now that doesn't mean I have to have snacks watching the game that aren't healthy, because we have like cauliflower bites and potato skins and different things that can be air fried that are just as tasty as some of those the old way I used to prepare them.
Wow. And now tell me what brought you to both thinking about diabetes and making that a focus in helping people stay away from diabetes in this book. Like, what brought you to thinking about that?
Well, it more or less was a natural marriage, because it is a healthier way of eating. And what's nice about it is it's a healthier way of eating, but it doesn't seem like you're making a big change. It's just delicious, and like we mentioned, the vegetables were good. They were crisp, and it just seemed like a natural fit for those that maybe have gotten the diagnosis of their diabetes, and they're instantly thinking, oh, no more fried chicken, no more deep fried onion rings, none of that. They can still have them in a close facsimile to what they were used to, and still enjoy it and not feel deprived.
Yeah. What do you think, Kathy?
No, I agree fully. And if you could have seen some of those first ads on the air fryers back a few years ago, they all showed just the French fries, like Roxanne had mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. And then you suddenly realize there's a lot more to this product than just those French fries. Mm-hmm. And that opened up so many doors for us to realize, all the great foods. And so the diabetes connection was just a natural.
Yeah,
it was. And one of my favorite recipes is chicken or beef fajitas done in there. The meat, you do it, and it's put in a marinade. It gets this crispy edge on it, and then you take that out and drop the vegetables, the onions, and the peppers in, and they crisp up and taste roasted. And it's delicious. It's a great new way of cooking.
I love it, and I love roasted food. So this sounds totally fabulous, and it's great that you guys have expanded on the general idea of what people think of when they think of a air fryer, is that just French fries, but there's much more to it than that. And I can't even remember the last time I had fried chicken, because I don't want to use deep frying fat and oil. But this is just yet another way you can go back to having some of those yummy comfort foods that you love, but in a healthier fashion.
Exactly.
Is great. Well, I don't want us to leave without folks finding out how they can get a copy today. Keep on that diet and perhaps that resolution they had at the beginning of the year to stay away from unhealthy foods and eat healthy. How can they get a copy of your book?
Well, the book is certainly available wherever, they might get their books, whether that's online through some of the popular sites or at their local bookstore or retail store. Of course, they can go to diabetes.org for more information on the diabetes and links to the book.
Yes, and the book is called The Easy Air Fryer Cookbook, everyone. And you guys can be found at @KMoreFood or at Roxanne Wyss, is it? Did I say it right?
Yes, that's right. Wyss. Roxanne Wyss.
And we have a blog and website at pluggedintocooking.com. And we will link to the book there. So there's lots of ways that they can get more information and connect with us.
That's great. And, I think it's also probably a good idea, Roxanne, to spell your name. I have it here as Roxanne, and Wyss is Wyss, so that people can find you wherever they look online.
That's great. Thank you. Yes.
And Kathy Moore, well, that is Kathy, and then Moore, Moore. And I thank you both. I have to thank you for sharing this valuable information today with our audience, hopefully getting everyone on the healthy wagon for 2020. Thank you so much, guys, for coming to Savvy Broadcasting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like this episode, please share. To hear more Savvy episodes and Savvy Biz tips, go to lifeunscriptedradio.com. To become a guest or participate in paid sponsorship, email us at Christina@lifeunscriptedradio.com.